All right, let's talk about something you see literally every single day, but probably never really think about. That tiny little padlock up in your browser's address bar. It feels like it's always been there, right? Well, it hasn't. And the story of how it got there is actually kind of wild. It's about a radical idea that completely transformed the internet.
Seriously, have you ever stopped to wonder what that lock is really doing? You see it, you feel a little safer clicking buy now or logging in, but what's the magic behind it? Well, it's the sign of a secure connection. And trust me, its backstory is way more interesting than you'd think.
So, the tech that makes the lock appear is called HTTPS. And honestly, the best way to get it is with this analogy. An old-school, unsecured website is like sending a postcard, right? Anybody who gets their hands on it can read what you wrote. But HTTPS? That's like putting your message inside a sealed, tamper-proof envelope. Only you and the person you sent it to can ever see what's inside.
Now, to really appreciate just how important that sealed envelope is, we need to take a quick trip back in time. And we're not going back that far, just to an internet that was basically all postcards.
It sounds crazy now, but just over a decade ago, most of what you did online was happening out in the open. I mean, the articles you were reading, the forms you filled out. Sometimes even your passwords and credit card numbers were just sent as plain text. Anyone on the same network, say at a coffee shop, could easily snoop on what you were doing.
And if you look at the numbers, they really paint a picture. Check this out. In 2014, less than 30% of web pages were encrypted. That means about 70% of the web was that open postcard. Security was this special thing you had to seek out, not the default. So, what on earth changed?
Well, what changed things wasn't some slow evolution. It was one big, powerful idea. A group of people looked at this broken, insecure web and said, you know what? This whole model is backwards. Basic security shouldn't be some premium feature.
And this was the game-changing question they asked. Back then, getting that security certificate, the key to the padlock, was a pain. It was complicated, it often cost money. So they wondered, what if we just flipped the entire script? What if we made security the default for the whole internet by making it totally free, super easy, and completely automatic?
Their plan was so simple it was genius. It had three parts. First, get rid of the cost. Make the certificates 100% free. Second, get rid of the hassle. Build a system that just automatically installs and renews them for you. And third, and this is crucial, make sure the mission always serves the public by running the whole thing as a nonprofit.
So, this radical idea, did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. It didn't just work, it kicked off an absolute explosion in web security. The results were just staggering.
The growth was just off the charts, totally exponential. They issued their very first certificate in late 2015, and from that point on, the Milestones just tell this incredible story.
Get this, in just a few months, by March of 2016, they hit their 1 millionth certificate. That was the huge signal that, yes, people desperately wanted this.
But 1 million was just the warm-up. Fast forward to 2020, and they had issued an unbelievable 1 billion certificates. The scale just ballooned beyond what anyone could have imagined.
Which brings us to today. Right now, this nonprofit is often issuing over 10 million of these certificates every single day. That's more than 100 every second. The entire web is basically being rewired for security right before our eyes.
So what does issuing billions of free automatic certificates actually mean for you and me when we're browsing? It means security is no longer the exception. It's the new normal.
I mean, the change is just night and day. We went from a web that was less than 30% secure, where getting a padlock was a chore, to a web today where over 80% of all connections across the globe are secure. And for most websites, it just happens now, automatically in the background.
And if you zoom into the US, the numbers are even more amazing. We're at about 95% of web connections being encrypted. That means pretty much every click you make, every site you visit, is protected by that sealed envelope. It's a fundamental shift in how the internet works.
And, for the folks who started this whole thing, it was never about the bragging rights of issuing billions of certificates. The real goal, the thing that actually mattered, was the outcome, just making the internet safer for people. The numbers were just proof that it was working.
And that, in a way, is the true success story here. The biggest win wasn't just making the web secure, it was making web security so seamless and automatic that it became, well, boring. It's just there now. You expect it. And that expectation, that's the real victory.
Okay, so the web is now a fundamentally safer, more private place. But the work isn't done. So what's next?
Well, the core mission just keeps going. The goal is to keep knocking down barriers, whether they're about money or technology or just not knowing what to do, that stop people from having the best possible security and privacy online. Protecting users is a job that never really ends.
And this whole story leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. This project gave us a powerful playbook, right? Find a huge problem, throw massive-scale automation at it, and power the whole thing with a nonprofit public benefit mission. It worked for web security. So it really makes you wonder, what other giant, seemingly impossible problems could we solve with that exact same model? What's next?